Good afternoon and welcome to the Holiday Health and Wellness webinar hosted by NAMI and the Women's Resource Center. My name is Lori Gentile and I'm going to be your host today. As you may have noticed, the lines are muted, but we really do want to hear from you. To ask a question, please just click on the Q&A box and type your question, and then we'll answer as many questions as time allows. Let me just open up my presentation. Okay, our speakers today, Lori Gentile, that's me, and Colleen Thayer from NAMI. We're just going to give brief overviews of our respective organizations. And then Kim Klein and Judy Sedgman are going to present the major content for today. So the Women's Resource Center really has been empowering women in Manatee and Sarasota counties since 1979. We offer programs and services either at very low cost or at no cost to our clients. Our services include mental health counseling, career services, and that's resume building, career coaching, career workshops, and also legal and financial consultation and education, and then wellness programs, yoga, mindfulness to help the body and spirit. And we also have educational workshops and programs and scholarships. If you'd like more information about the Women's Resource Center, please visit our website at www.mywrc.org. Colleen, over to you.
Thank you so much, Lori, and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Colleen Thayer with the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the Sarasota and Manatee affiliate. And just to give you a little, really broad overview, NAMI is the nation's largest grassroots organization dedicated to individuals that live with a mental illness and their families and caregivers. Next slide. So NAMI, above everything else, is a support organization. We are not a provider of services. So we don't do the counseling and those kinds of things, but we focus on support for peers and for families, education for peers and families, a lot of advocacy work and awareness. So we try to also be a resource for people and connect people where they might need to go in the community, like Women's Resource Center. And next. And this just gives you a little overview of all the programs that we currently have within the two-county area. And because of COVID, most everything is online right now, but we do a lot of education classes, seminars, and then support groups. NAMI Connection and NAMI Family Support Group are really kind of the mainstays of our organization. Everything we offer is free to anyone who wants to attend. And with that, I'm going to introduce our first speaker today, Kim Klein. So Kim is from Bradenton and lives part-time in Bettendorf, Iowa, where she is right now, which is way colder than even our nice, chilly, refreshing weather here. She has a bachelor's degree in computer information systems, and she has 2 children and is currently an empty nester. She enjoys many things like the beach, traveling, and spending time with her family. Kim was initially diagnosed with bipolar disorder 1 in 2003, and she credits her doctors, therapists, husband, and family for their support, as they've all been an integral part of her recovery. She and her husband have recently celebrated 27 years of marriage. So congratulations to that. And I am going to turn it over to Kim.
Thanks, Colleen. Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for joining me for the Holidays Health and Wellness webinar. Wow, it's already December 2nd and we're well on our way to the holiday season. It's good to be here. I look forward to our time together today. Please bear with me as I'm learning to become a public speaker. This is still new for me and a lot out of my box, but hopefully we can learn together and better ourselves this afternoon. You've heard a little bit about my story from Colleen, but I would like to give you some more about my background. I extremely enjoy the holiday season. I grew up with a family that celebrated and had lots of traditions. I have been blessed to be a part of many good times and had holidays and hope to continue those good times with my family as we grow older together. We've always celebrated Christmas with a tree and had a big family dinner. Most memorable Christmas activity was having the whole family be apart for the holidays. This is when those near and far gathered to celebrate. It still makes my heart flutter today, even when I think about my kids coming home for Christmas and seeing them for the first time in a while. I'm a part of a Facebook group online that is called Grown and Flown. It's a group of those who have children who have left home for college or other. Well, that's where I am today, waiting in anticipation for my next holiday visit. But for now, I've been researching ways to enjoy and cope for the upcoming holiday season. So I'm hoping to put some of these tips into practice for myself as well, and I hope that you can too. First of all, I'd like to start out with a quote from our NAMI program medical director, Dr. Ken Duckworth. Ken says, "There's a tremendous need for people to reach out and watch out for each other in keeping with the spirit of the season." As the holidays are upon us, I would like to encourage us to practice good self-care, to eat and drink in moderation, to stick with our normal routine as much as possible, and be careful to get enough sleep and to exercise. Sleep is imperative for mental health. It does a world of good for the brain too. I would also encourage you to limit the alcohol and other substances if we're feeling stressed or down. We should set reasonable expectations around shopping, entertaining, and socializing. Lowering expectations for ourselves is always a good strategy around the holidays. Spending time with people we love and who love us is important, even during these holiday COVID times. Taking things one day at a time or even day by day is best. As we move into the holiday season, I would like to share a quote from Jessica Maharaj from NAMI. Jessica says the most wonderful time of the year can quickly turn into the most stressful time of the year for many. It is crucial for everyone, but especially for those with mental health conditions, to consider tactics for avoiding pitfalls. Of all the things of our holiday preparations to-do list, the most critical one is maintaining our mental health and practicing self-care. Here are some tips that can benefit us if we put them into practice. First, stay healthy and hydrated. Drink plenty of water or herbal teas. We can also, or shouldn't forget, to hydrate our skin with lotions and balms. Hydration nourishes the brain and its physical effects can improve our overall mood. Finally, find ways to exercise. The holiday season is a great time to be outside, and any form of exercise will release endorphins, which can lessen the symptoms of depression. Organizing family walks is a great way to get fresh air and enjoy a company of others. Spending time with our loved ones, this often offers us an opportunity for social interactions, which can help lessen the feelings of loneliness that may come from around this time of year. Pamper ourselves. Taking a bath, having a warm drink, or getting a massage can create a sense of calmness and happiness, especially during the stress of the holiday season. We can indulge without over-consuming. Treating ourselves can make us happy, but overindulging in unhealthy food around the holidays can negatively impact us. The holiday season comes only once a year, and while it's understandable to aspire for perfection, it's important to set realistic and attainable goals. The following are a few key tips to avoid the stress of perfection. Make a budget and let's do our best to stick to it. While still leaving a little wiggle room, the holidays tend to bring out the generosity in all of us. Come up with a plan. Spread out the errands so we don't become overwhelmed with too many tasks at once, and don't forget to schedule some relaxation time. Find the best time to shop. Malls are less crowded on weekdays and weeknights. If we can manage, try to go during the day and park farther away from the stores. Our time in the sunlight and walking to and from our car boosts our serotonin levels. Practicing mindful activities while we wait in line can also help us stay calm among the holiday shopping chaos. Be kind to ourselves. We can all do our best, and our best is good enough. It's impossible to please everyone, but we are often our own harshest critics. Watch ourselves and our other family members who have symptoms of depression and or anxiety. I like to engage or talk to our support network early and have a plan. My support network is made up of those who care and love me and help me when needed. My husband is my biggest advocate. If you or your loved one deals with a mental health condition, it's important to know who's on call for your doctor or psychiatrist's office over the holidays. Also know the on-call procedures. Knowing the procedures helps to lessen the time for support to engage. If a mental health crisis does occur, call the psychiatrist or go to the nearest emergency room for help. For me, I like to use a safe word or a phrase. I always try to find someone in my support network who knows my safe phrase when help is needed. An example of this is when I get overwhelmed or I'm in crisis, I can use a word like, I don't know, polar bear, to let my support network know that I need help, and it may signal them that I'm in crises. We should let our support network know what potential warning signs they should be on the lookout for. Sometimes I feel overly anxious and need to step away from the center of activity to refocus. Usually my support network flags my behavior well before I use my safe word and helps me get the proper mental health care I need. It's great to have an accountability partner or a member of my support network to help make sure to take my medication on a timely schedule during the holidays. With all the extra activity that goes on, it is so easy to forget to take necessary medications, which can lead to unnecessary mental health issues. We should have a balanced plan that includes time with family and friends, but also personal time for ourselves. Holidays can be overwhelming, but very fun and engaging too. Have a balanced schedule for engagement and take a break, and have a plan to step away when needed for some personal time. Make a reminder list of what we are grateful for and review it daily. A grateful list is an awesome thing. To the degree we are capable, practice giving back by doing things like volunteering, buying and or exchanging gifts, or cooking. If we find ourselves stressed, or our stress is completely unmanageable, talk to a physician. The doctor or the psychiatrist can recommend medication or refer you to a therapist to work through larger issues. Again, if the situation warrants going to the ER, please don't hesitate. Mental health conditions can be very mild, but also very serious and severe at sometimes. They can lead to life or death situations. Don't take mood changes, bad thoughts, what people say, or their actions lightly. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Get help early. Many of us deal with feelings of holidays of past. One of the greatest holiday stresses is the absence of a loved one who's passed away. The empty seat where they would have sat can fill families with a sense of grief, loss, and emptiness, as well as worsen the symptoms of individuals with mental health conditions. The following can help families cope. Know that some parts of the holiday will be wonderful and some parts will be sad, but the anticipation of the sadness can be stressful, but the holidays provide an opportunity for healing. We can still take joy in the relatives who are present and remember fond memories of the holidays past. It's okay to feel the way we feel. It is healthy to acknowledge our feelings and work through them rather than suppressing them. take care of ourselves. Don't feel pressure to uphold family traditions. Do what you can do and don't put extra pressure on yourself. While there might be comforting way to remember a loved one, the family will find new ways to celebrate and traditions will adjust with time. Keep in mind that the loved ones we lost won't want to be remembered fondly and enjoy the holiday season. Meanwhile, let's not sentence ourselves to a stress-filled holiday. We should take steps to reduce our stress, so let's get back to making spirits bright for the holidays. The holidays are about spending time with loved ones, even over Zoom or in small crowds with this COVID season. It's not all about gifts and giving. Our families and friends will be happy to create memories with us. So don't worry about finding an expensive gift or if they will like it. They will appreciate your efforts and affections, regardless of what you give them. The holiday season brings joy and happiness as well as frustration and stress. This holiday season may have many things to take care of, but the most important is ourselves. Thank you for allowing me to share. Please ask any questions in the chat box about the material that I presented, NAMI, or about my mental health. I am always happy to share my journey in hopes that helps someone else. Bipolar is not easy, curable, but it is manageable. I'm here to provide hope for those who deal with this disorder and their loved ones. To those who live with this mental health conditions, we not only survive, but we can thrive in society today with the proper support from doctors, therapists, medication, and our support networks. I wish everyone a very, very hopeful, healthy, and well holiday season. Next, I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Sedgman. Dr. Sedgman is an internationally recognized leader in the field of innate health. She mentors practitioners and teaches globally. She was the faculty of School of Medicine at West Virginia University as the director of the Institute of Innate Health before relocating to Bradenton, Florida in 2009. Judy?
Thank you. Okay, I was just reaching for the unmute button. So, well, hi, everybody. It's really nice to be with you. And it's cold in Florida, so we're kind of getting in the holiday spirit. It's very unusual, but we're going to take it while we have it. So if you notice the Floridians wearing sweaters, don't panic. We're taking good care of ourselves. You know, I work in a field which is based on the idea that everybody has resilience and innate well-being, no matter what diagnosis may be going on right now or what may be going on in their lives. And so it's good to remember that you can't break the human spirit. And the spirit really comes alive a lot during the holiday seasons when we start to feel love and remembrance and joy and, you know, and sorrow too. But it's a very, it's an emotionally uplifting time for most people and also a time of sorrow for some people. And I thought it was great that Kim came up with, I think, an extremely thorough and really very well thought through and very helpful list of things that people should remember, regardless of whether you have a diagnosis or not. That's good advice for anybody, to remember during the holiday season, to take good care of yourself, to pamper yourself a little bit, and to remember that nobody's perfect. And, you know, when the hour comes to serve dinner, you serve what you got. And if something didn't work out right, you leave it in the kitchen and you don't worry about it. And I think for some of us, we get a little carried away with perfectionism. I know the first year that I had to cook a turkey after my, I became a bride and I was running my own household and I have my parents over instead of going to my parents' house. And I was panicking the whole time I was cooking the turkey, thinking, oh my gosh, my mother's coming for dinner and she made these beautiful turkeys all these years. And I was talking to the turkey, you know, please brown, please do right in the oven there, please cut stuffing, cook, and I was following the instructions I had in my little notebook for my mom. And of course, it all turned out perfect. But I went through a lot of pain and agony before I could get it out of the oven. And I thought, I'm never going to do that again because my mother would have loved my turkey no matter what I did to it. But, we do this to ourselves. We get caught up in a lot of thoughts often. It's an overlay on our general well-being. So we tend to get, going, and we start thinking, oh, what if this doesn't happen? What if that? We get caught up in the what ifs and the maybe so's, and what if Uncle Harry has too much to drink and starts telling dirty stories in front of the kids, God forbid, and all the things that we worry about. And that's just life. Things happen. Sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's funny, and sometimes we have to help somebody out to the car. But but no matter what, the idea is to remember that deep down we're all the same. We're human beings. We're creating our own thoughts and making them up and taking them more or less seriously. And when we take our worried thinking seriously, we don't enjoy ourselves as much as when we can leave ourselves alone and just take life moment to moment. And that's really good way to look at the holidays. It's a moment to moment experience. And that everything, no matter what happened, will turn into a funny memory. Later on in life, you'll look back and go, wasn't that funny that time that Uncle Harry, whatever. And don't let yourself get caught up in ideas that bring you down. Which leads me to the one point that I was going to try to make in this limited time we have together, which is, we're always in one state of mind or another. Again, regardless of what's going on in our lives, we live on a kind of a roller coaster of life. So we're in and out of various moods. And, when our spirits are down and our tension starts to rise, we start having negative thoughts. That's just, comes with the territory. So when our spirits lift and our tension drops, our thoughts clear up and we have more clarity and more enthusiasm and more joy and more present moment experience. And the one thing I always tell people to remember is we always know how we feel. We don't always tell the truth about it. Most people, if somebody asks you how you feel and you're not feeling so hot, usually you say, oh, I'm fine. Because that's what we do as people. We don't want to burden other people. But in our hearts, we always know. So if you're not feeling at your best in any given moment, yourself, oh gosh, I'm starting to feel tense or anxious or pressured, or, I'm starting to worry now. And when you start feeling that way, that feeling is like a biofeedback mechanism. It's your body telling you what your mind is doing. Because essentially our feelings are always a shadow of the thoughts that we're taking seriously. So you can use that feeling on your own behalf. It's like if you're in the kitchen and you're, trying to get things ready and you're really feeling pressure, take a moment, just step into another room, go, sniff some perfume or wash your face, or, take a little walk around the house, or go play with the dog, or take the dog out for a little bit, or do something to just give your mind a rest. And you're always one thought away from a whole different thought, and something else will come to mind, and you'll calm down and come back, and the shift has come. Now your tension's down, your mood is up. And when that happens, your thoughts clear up and you start to have much more constructive and useful thinking. And another challenge that we face that calls on us to really pay attention to our state of mind is, especially in a holiday like this one, where a lot of things that we're used to doing are not going to happen. For example, I live alone and I'm not going to be with my family. And I'm not going to be with anybody else either, because the whole idea of this COVID thing is to keep yourself safe. So, I'm going to do my holiday time with my family on Zoom. It's not going to be quite the same as getting up early in the morning and opening the presents and all that stuff. Now, I'm the grandmother, so I'm okay with it. But my grandson is really worried. He's 21. It's his first Thanksgiving as an adult, so to speak, and he's his first Christmas rather. And he's got, ideas about Christmas past, because my daughter always does a big deal around Christmas. And I've always been there for Christmas. So he's already called me 6 times and said, Grammy, are you coming? Are you coming for Christmas? And I'm going like, no, I'm not. Well, what are we going to do without you? I'm going like, well, we'll talk on Zoom, but that's only like an hour. And I'm going like, it's a nice hour, you know? So I talked to my daughter about it and I said, Anthony's getting worried about Christmas. Have you talked to him? And she said, well, he's just got unrealistic expectations. And I said, yeah, but it's bugging him, you know? So she said, well, I'll talk to him. And so she said, well, she came up with some ideas of fun things that we could do on Zoom that would be more like being together. So we're going to do charades. I don't know how it's going to work out, but you can do it on Zoom, and why not? And then we've never played charades on Christmas before. It'll be a new tradition. And maybe next year when we're all together for Christmas, we will have had so much fun doing charades on Zoom that we'll do it for Christmas in real life. And that's what happens when our head clears and our spirits lift and we kind of become aware of, the moment. We get more creative. And this year is calling on us to be a little bit more creative around Christmas. We're going to have to explain things to children, like why isn't everybody here? Why don't we have so many people? How come I don't have as many presents under the tree? How come this? How come that? And there are a lot of things that are going to be different this year, but different is not bad unless you think it is. Different is only bad if you label it and say, oh, this is so sad. But if you say this is a challenge, it'd be fun for our family to come up with new traditions, new ideas, new ways to look at the holiday, new ways to be together. So part of it is to just unleash your own, most creative thinking by taking care of yourself, not only physically, but emotionally, and paying attention to your own state of mind, recognizing that when you're down, it's temporary, it'll pass, and give yourself a break, let yourself calm down, let your thinking clear up, and come back to whatever you were doing with a whole fresh outlook. I mean, that's good advice actually for all the time, but at Christmas, it's especially important. And it's good also to let the younger people in the family, the children and the younger people, know that just because something is traditional doesn't mean it's imperative. That all of us that have lived a long time, we've been through many different kinds of Christmases and many different experiences. And it's always something nice to think back on later on. And it's fun to invent new traditions. And when things are fun and different and they're calling for creativity, and when you get everybody kind of together in good spirits, miracles happen. Little kids come up with ideas for games, or adults come up with stories about Christmases past that were funny. And if you're going to have a Zoom Christmas, I think one of the things that we used to do, I used to have Christmas parties I've worked a lot with homeless people, and I used to do Christmas parties in this homeless center that I worked in advance of Christmas, but we'd have our little group's Christmas party. And so they'd be all sitting around the table and thinking, oh, it's so sad. We don't have anybody and we're homeless and we're this and we're that. And we're going to Salvation Army for Christmas. Oh, whoa. And I'd say, okay, let's make up Christmas stories. So, and I'll write them down and then I'll type them up, and then you can share them with, each other or with other people that you spend time with at Christmas, the people at the Salvation Army. So I'd say, okay, we'd start, like when you were 6, what was your favorite toy? So I'd say, Jimmy is 6 and he's so excited to look under the tree and see if there's a box big enough to hold that, whatever, stuffed bear. And we made up these Christmas stories, and then I elaborated on them and typed them up and gave them to them. They were mostly men that were homeless. I gave them to them, and they had more fun because they would take the stories with them to wherever they went for Christmas dinner, and they would share them, and then other people would get into it, and it got to be sort of funny. They started making up some pretty crazy stuff, but it was fun. And that was just a kind of spur of the moment idea that we had. Another year we made up a Christmas carol. We just took some, a standard song that everybody knew the tune, and we said, let's make up our own words. And that was really funny, and it was great. So there, you'd be surprised at the ideas that might occur to you. I'm not suggesting that those ideas are the best ones, but ideas that will occur to your family that will make sense to them if the time is right and if everybody's in a good mood. So the idea is to really take care of your state of mind. And if somebody's starting to feel a little down, and somebody, often happens at Christmas, somebody will sit at the table and they'll start thinking about somebody who's no longer with them, or something sad that happened, and they'll start to share that. Listen with an open heart and a free, clear mind, but don't drag it out. There's a big difference between commiserating and going like, you think that's bad, wait till I tell you what happened to me, as opposed to, such a sweet memory that you have. It's so wonderful that you're able to remember Aunt Jean or whoever. And, we all remember her fondly, and then just move on. Because people need to be heard, people need to express themselves, but we don't need to wallow in it. And Christmas is a time where that can easily happen if everybody around the table starts, letting themselves go there, essentially, is that how they put it. So part of your self-care is just to really be good to yourself, and remember that, you're the thinker of your own thoughts, and you don't have to take any thoughts seriously. You can, but you don't have to. And if you're experiencing thoughts that are bringing you down, and you're noticing your spirits drop, and you're noticing yourself feeling more tense, or more sad, or more frightened, or more upset, or more anxious, then look away, let your head clear, and let your thoughts come back into balance, and let your spirits lift, and then start over with a new conversation, or a new idea, or something else. Because in a better state of mind, we all think more clearly, we're more creative, we're more loving, we're more forgiving, we're kinder, and we're more able to roll with it. I always say life is a roller coaster, and we're all along for the ride. And, for every down, there's an up. And so that's, what I can say from the standpoint of resilience is everybody has it. You never lose that. You can't lose it. It's a gift that comes with being born as a human being. And we all have that same power to self-correct, to come back into balance. And to the degree that you start having some faith in that, and let yourself just be aware, just know, okay, I'm starting to get worried now. I'm starting getting like me with the turkey. I've got way too much thinking about this turkey. It's in the oven. I can't do anything about it. I wasn't smart enough then to know that. So I let myself get pretty worked up. But, in the long run, once it's in the oven, you can't do anything about it. So you just got to take it out when it's cooked and hope for the best. And that's how life is. So I hope you all have beautiful Christmas celebrations, and whatever holiday you are celebrating, enjoy it with family and friends. And if you're alone, enjoy that too. Find a way to, find your own peace and your own happiness, just taking good care of yourself, and connect with friends, call people, check in, Zoom with people that you care about. And know that, there is no such thing. There isn't like the perfect holiday. I mean, Hallmark wishes that there was, but sadly there isn't. There's just whatever holiday you're having, and your experience of it is going to depend on how you think about it. And if you think, wow, that was interesting, that was different, that was fun, then it'll always store itself away as a nice memory. That was that unusual Christmas that we had. And if you think, oh, this is terrible, I'm so sad, then, that's the memory you'll store away. So just be good to yourself, and be kind to your mind. And remember that resilience is our nature as human beings. We're born to thrive and survive. So take good care of yourselves, and have a beautiful holiday.